Sun is setting earlier than usual, right? I gotta get these windows washed after they're done at my street. They finally stripped the street. And I'm just laying here chilling out because it was so noisy. You know, it's like a dinosaur coming down your street. Like a dinosaur. It starts at 7 in the morning, along with the garbage trucks. So, yeah, it's been noisy here. Isn't that pretty, that painting with the pink flowers? You know, I might eventually sell that, I don't know, or give it to one of my children. I had these two painted in China. See the little panda bears? So I said that's my son's, Ava Mandaruva, my little panda bears. And then the other one I just got, and I don't know, I asked my daughter-in-law which one she wanted. I think she wants the one with the pink flowers. But the light here is so pretty, right? I like the way this is designed, guys. I know I'm into architecture. And look at how, and there's a, let's see. There you go. See that light coming in? It's amazing, right? Yeah, I might sell that painting of mine too. The only problem is, the problem when you get stuff like this, you do, or you create, I don't know, but for me, I feel sometimes I get too attached to it, you know, and it's sometimes better just to let go. So you don't feel like you're always, what's going on with the light here? You don't feel like you're always like, what would you say? Stuck in the same dimension? Since everybody's talking about dimensions now, right? I guess that's a little better, right? So I said yesterday at the Halloween party, I hope you checked out my live video from yesterday. They're really cute. And look at Rosa's too. She's an artist. She's so gifted. I want my granddaughter to meet her. She does these amazing paintings, you know, on your body or anywhere, you know. I should have her do my garage door. I was actually thinking about doing my garage door. Yeah, I don't know. I feel this is a very intense day. This is a 9. So I thought, well, what better day to do a meditation at sunset on the 9 day? Because what is 9? We talked about this before. Why do I still have a shadow? I'm sorry, guys. You're going to have to just live with it. I just can't. I don't have patience for it. Here, I'll change my mode here. Then we're going to do a meditation. Get your crystal. Isn't this pretty? I saved my little Halloween hats. I have another one actually with a veil that's really cute too. This is the one I wore at the party yesterday. I love those people. We're thinking about doing a podcast together. That's going to be fun. And just like pick a topic to talk about, right? I mean, we started doing that last night. I don't know if you heard some of the podcast. You know, like I think I said that CPS. The reason CPS is so out of touch is because they run the system like a business. And I'm not saying not take care of the books, right? I think there's a lot of cheating going on. I mean, I really do. I think people are stealing a lot of money, and it's not really putting towards the best use for the children. So, I don't know, we could talk about a podcast like that. Get your crystal. We're going to be doing a meditation because, you know, Jamaica's being hit tonight. Let me go get my crystal. Go get your crystal. So, yeah, I like sunset. It's really pretty. That was fun last night. Rosa's husband built it. He built that whole center. It looks like a, well, you call it a mandala. You know, like, all right, that's better. Okay, lighting I think is a little bit better. All right, so like get in a position where you feel like you could sit for a while because the meditations are getting stronger, okay? And like I said, today's a 9, and 3-Eye Atlas is moving closer. And I guess it's nothing really hits our ecliptics. That's what they're called. You'd have to look that up yourself. I don't really know how to define that for you. It's more of a visual for me. It's kind of like the line between the yin and the yang. But they say nothing that huge, has impacted the ecliptics. So check that out, because that's bringing in transformation. Remember, I did a video a while back. God, I don't know if I uploaded it to Facebook. I don't know. I don't know where that video is. But I talk about, what is that's what it's called. It's called What is the Transfiguration? So, if you have time, go back and while you're washing dishes or doing some stuff, just put my video on and kind of listen to it. And I think it's really talking about this time right now. I really do. It's just like I think I didn't even know I was making a prediction, but I think this is the time that it's connected to. So let me do a clearing. Where's my crystal? Here. It's our time to come into our own transfiguration. And what was the transfiguration? It was like the body of light, right? You connect to all those like little, what would you call them, rivers of light. Rivers of light, right? And then your Hopis talked about the blue kachina. And they said, yeah, the hippies would be like the leaders. And I think that's true. I think a lot of people from my generation who spend their time like living communally or growing their own food, to me that's what it meant to be a hippie back then. You kind of like took care of your children, your garden, your food. You're conscious of what you ate. There was music too. I wasn't into the really hard rock stuff. I was more of folk music. My first concert I think I went to, was Simon and Garfunkel. So I was more into that kind of music. So let me see if I have to clear again. Yeah, I need to clear again. Okay. So let's take a breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. All right, we're going to go right into meditation. So you should have your crystal. I want you to focus on Jamaica and just send all your love. Open up your heart. Stay in your heart. And don't fear for Jamaica. That's the problem. People aren't saying, oh, it's a category 5. They keep repeating that. That's the worst thing you could do. Why don't you repeat 2.5, 2.4? We have to calm the hurricanes, remember? And all these people are like almost cheering it on by saying 5, 5, 5. No, you don't want to do that. You want to say 2. If they have to have a brisk wind, make it reasonable, right? Make it reasonable. All right, we're going to go right into meditation. So that cleared pretty fast. Like I said, I like this crystal. It's really a nice crystal. It has it's a quartz. So quartz is very grounding, and it's also helps me to send more energy out to you when I do the Reiki healings, right? And you notice how people are getting more telepathic. Like you think of somebody and the next day they call you, or they call you the same day. Are you thinking about a house and the person you know says, hey, I think you'd like this house too, and it's the same house that they thought of. So there's a lot of synergy happening. It's a lot of synergy happening. So just kind of feel into it, because the more you open yourself up to the light, the less you'll be seduced by AI. I really think that AI is kind of like the Antichrist, because it serves a purpose, right? But then it could get too what do you call it? It could get too controlling, right? Controlling, like that becomes almost like a new worship, right? AI. And it's not. It's a tool, okay? So I think at this time we have to get really real about what's important and what's not important. Can you believe I'm doing satsang right away? I didn't even know I was going to be doing satsang. I thought we were going to just do a meditation. But right now there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. You see it everywhere. So let's refocus. We're going to focus on the calming down the hurricane in Jamaica. And it's also touching Cuba. I was in Cuba, I think I was 6 or 7. It was after my dad died. My mom was depressed, and the doctor said, get on a train and go to Cuba with your kids. That changed my life. We flew to New York because I think someone in my family committed suicide. And then we took a train, and the Pullman trains, that was the best job for African Americans. They were treated with respect. They got paid a fair wage. But I remember I was a little girl, and then, oh God, my brother and I were running around, little kids. We were taking the little bars of soap because I wanted to build my Ginny doll a house. So we didn't know we were stealing. We were just running around collecting all the soap. So, and my mother, I don't think she was oblivious because she was depressed, right? That's why the doctor said get on the train and go to Florida. So we're on this train, stealing the soap. But I built my Jenny doll. I remember I built her this great house out of soap. My brother was outside in a swimming pool, and I was inside with my mom. I kind of sensed that my mom was sad. Because when you're 6 or 7 years old, you really don't know what you're feeling, I think kids nowadays are more aware because they're exposed to more. But I was pretty sheltered, I was like a kid, I didn't have to grow up fast. I got to be a child. And I think that's the problem right now. Children are growing up way too fast. And they're being exposed to those games, Fortnite and Roblox. They're controlling their minds. So that's like a form of AI. So I think you really have to be careful and limit your kids on games. So let's do, let me do one more Reiki, and then we're going to do a meditation and focus on, the reason we're clearing and doing the Reiki first is because I want to build us up so we can get the best meditation we can get. Because the higher you get in meditation, the more you spin it out to everybody else. Because, it's not just our DNA that's being revved up, according to all these great people on the internet. It's not just our DNA that's being revved up, It's being every plant, every flower. People are saying they're seeing flowers that they've never seen before. They're seeing animals that they've never seen before. And then you're going to see that some things will start disappearing from the planet. They're just going to fade away, okay? They're just going to fade away. So different things at different vibration are going to reappear and disappear. So just be aware of that. Just like that kissing bug. That kissing bug is all over the place. We really have to protect ourselves. I actually had to buy a garden hat that had a veil on it because the mosquitoes were so bad. I really didn't enjoy the garden this summer. I don't know if I could change the light on this. Here, wait a minute. Oh, so much better. All right, so crystals. I can't sit as well over here, though. That's the only problem. Wait, maybe I can. Yes, I can. There goes the light again. Guys, you'll just have to forget about the light. Okay, let's just go into meditation. So you might feel your butt wiggling around. And I'm saying this in a nice way. That's a part of the Kundalini, waking up. You're becoming aware of it. Nobody teaches you that. I'm teaching you that. Okay, so just focus on that. So your whole thing is like the rumba seat. Remember the rumba seat? I used to have a rumba. I wonder why they had a rumba seat in those cars. The old-fashioned cars used to have rumba seats. I don't know what those seats were used for. If anybody knows, send me an email. But anyway, the lower part of your body's waking up in your hip area. That's your sacral iliac. The whole triangle there at the base of your spine. That's your sacrum. Sacrum means sacred site. So you could focus on that if you want for a while. But the goal of this meditation is to get it as high as possible so that we raise the vibration of protecting Jamaica and Cuba and all those little places around it. All right? Wow, this is a big wake-up call to the people. This is bad karma. Bad juju, so this is the thing. Bad juju brings bad karma. Bad graping of women and giving rugs to little kids is bad karma. Okay, disrespecting women and making them cover themselves up, to me, is bad karma. We need to let people be free. All right, so we're going to start raising our energy at a higher level now. We're going to go up to the midsection of the body. And you can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth just at your own rate. You don't have to follow mine, okay? I mean, if you're in sync with mine, that's fine. Now we're going to do a meditation we haven't done in a while. It's a little more challenging. So if you're in this meditation and you can feel your energy spiraling all the way up to your head, that's really good. Because remember, your light doesn't just stay at the perimeter of your body. It extends out, right? It's called grace. So the more that you are in that space of grace, the more that you are in that heart center, the more you're going to be able to radiate it out to everyone else. People are suffering. So I learned something I didn't want to hear today, but I did hear it. So that's really good, guys. We're all the way up. Let's see if we can get this meditation a little bit going here. Focus on Jamaica. It has a green and yellow flag like Brazil. And just like when you visualize the island, right, it looks like a giant kind of teardrop to me. It looks like a teardrop. So just imagine that island of Jamaica being filled with our love and our light. And just like we're going to maybe visualize a pink cloud. And that pink cloud is going to just slowly calm down the hurricane. I mean, what kind of, I mean, is this all GMOs? Are they seeding these hurricanes like they thought the hippies were crazy back in the 70s, right? They thought that we were crazy because we're talking about cloud seeding and that we should build dome houses. They thought we were crazy. And what are they doing now? They're building dome houses. Made it like this substance called ceramicide. Look that up. And it's supposed to be one of the strongest structures. So that's what they need to build in the islands, not these stupid square houses. That's useless, right? Totally useless. Because the four corners, the square is the weakest structure. The triangle is the strongest structure on Earth. So I can't believe I got into a whole satsang here. But I guess I just haven't talked to you guys in a while, and I feel really good. Our meditation is really high today. It's very, very high and strong. So I really think that we can help Jamaica a lot. There are people already packing food packages for Jamaica. So, you might want to see if you have anybody Jamaican who's in your area. You might want to start a GoFundMe for them, for their relatives. I mean, let's jump it, right? And then maybe they could get some of those round dome houses to build there instead of the square hut. I mean, I don't want to tell people what to do, but I just think that, we got to be sensible here. You want to live on an island, you want to live in a hurricane-prone area, you have to live in a round house. You have to live in a house that, like Buckminster Fuller talked about. And I'm still thinking about building a house on my land in Galena. I'm thinking almost maybe I should think of taking a trip out to Galena. Because I'm getting kind of bored. I want to wait till they're done with this street. All right, so here we go. We're going to go back into meditation, and we are going to focus on putting that pink, like soft cloud over the angry. I mean, have you ever seen pictures of the hurricane? I mean, it looks like somebody got stabbed. It's like horrible looking. Horrible. The colors are angry and destructive, like Satanism. It's just like, that's what it looks like. It looks evil. So we need to calm down the evil. You need to calm down the evil, or it's going to run everywhere, like rats, right? So, I mean, there's a certain aspect, I think rats are kind of cute in a certain kind of way, but I don't want them in my house. One time I saw outside my bird feeder, that's when I saw the rat. Like, I don't remember when I saw the rat last. People say they've seen them around here. But I saw the rat kind of be a bully and pushed a dove away. So the dove, because doves are ground feeders. All right, so let's get it together here. See, I haven't been on for a while, so I miss you. I miss you guys. I miss somebody to talk to, right? No, I had a great time last night. We got to talk. Like I said, we're talking about maybe putting a podcast together. I love that, right? So, and I did put some, okay, so I'm going to do a 1 to 2 drops of iodine. I started out with 1 drop yesterday in water because they're saying people are very iodine deficiency. Look it up online how many diseases iodine deficiencies are connected with. Almost all the top 10, right? The top 10. So check that out. Change your diet, meditate, you know. So okay, so I'm gonna be trying to be better about doing more meditations, but today is serious. Today is very serious. It's 27th, it's the 9. So it's a transformation. So, it's I hope the island of Jamaica transforms in a positive way. Let's put it that way. I hope they get dome houses and not square houses, and I hope people help them out because there's going to be a loss. So let's just pray for their souls, okay? So let's focus on a meditation for Jamaica, okay? Let's focus on calming down the storm. So really get your Kundalini going, and as your Kundalini starts to shift, you're going to hear music in your right ear, and you might receive messages in your left ear. No, you're not going crazy. You're becoming more telepathic. Remember, everything is done in love, right? We want whatever we do, we want to do with love. What is love? It's consciousness, right? Consciousness not to hurt anyone, be kind to each other. You know what they said? They said that they think that the 10 Commandments, according to Casey, are buried under the Sphinx in Egypt. They already say that the pyramids are like these generator systems of energy. Those pyramids, right? But I think they're supposed to put on a quartz cap. I think that's what's missing. I mean, how can you have a pyramid be a generator if you don't have the quartz on top, right? I think they have to put So let's finish up here. I'm glad they stripped the street. I just wish they would tar it. I hope that they don't pick Halloween to tar my street because I want to be able to get out of my garage, and go visit my grandkids. So let me Reiki you out again. I want you this time, when you stay in your heart, I want you to focus on Jamaica, okay? I have to drink more water. You might feel, okay, you might feel as the energy is changing right now that you're going to drink more water and eat less food. Because we're moving from a carbon structure into a crystalline structure. It's better for us, right? We need less food, we need less water. And we're more telepathic. We know what each other needs. We're going to become kinder to each other. So I think this is a good thing, I think this is going to be heaven on earth. So I think we need, like John Lennon would say, right? Give peace a chance, baby. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. So right now you want to stay in your heart, because I'm going to send some chi in there right now, okay? Stay in your heart. pray for Jamaica. You know, if you could get another meditation in tonight, that would be awesome. Because I think it's supposed to hit the island either tonight or early tomorrow. I guess it depends where you are on the island. But I know, you know, Jamaicans are pretty smart too. And they have a lot of peninsula, you know, and some people, they made fun of my comment. They said, like, the peninsula is not going to help them. But the fishermen knew that. They said in Jamaica, there's this area where they have a lot of little peninsulas. So a lot of the fishermen, they stack their boats up in there, you know. So let's pray for them, you know, that they stay as safe as possible. Maybe that they just, and that they can have less cleanup. And that they start building round houses, right? Let them build round houses now. I want to check into that ceramicide. It's supposed to be windproof, you know, waterproof. We need to build different types of housing structure. That's why people will not be homeless anymore. We build all these types of housing structures. I mean, we can certainly build a beautiful little house in Phoenix for $150,000, you know. So, I mean, we could probably build a nice little house for $80,000. So I just think people have to think smarter. The reason there's so many homeless people is some people only get $14 an hour. Yeah, the lucky people probably get $25 an hour. But I think that's unusual. I mean, I don't know. I haven't researched it. Okay? But all I know is we have to start thinking of each other. We have to create beautiful healing communities. And not like, you know, find these people because they have no place to sleep except in their car. And then what do? They go and tow their SUV. You know, I mean, where's the compassion? Where's the compassion? So, you know, I don't know. There's this dark side, right? There's this dark, evil side. It has spread its wings over the planet. And I really think I've got to kick the shit out of it. So get together with people you love, your neighbors. I love my neighbors. I love where I live. It's international. I love it here. My son wants me to move somewhere else. And we may be called to move somewhere else depending on our spiritual purpose. So sometimes it's not always about us. That's something I learned today that I really didn't want to hear. But, I think it's true. I think it's true. I think that we're called to be somewhere for a specific purpose. And right now, I feel like my purpose is here because my purpose is here is to, because after I retired, as I looked at my place where I lived, it was like, who lived here for the last 11 years that I lived here? Who lived here? Because I had to start looking at all my stuff all over again that I hadn't looked at in many, many years. Like even going back to, I collected stuff. And we do that, right? We collect this stuff and then we sit on it. And at one point in our life, and that's what I'm doing right now, because Saturn is hitting one of our houses, right? And Saturn is the taskmaster along with Aries. The way I see it is like Aries is doing this dance with Saturn, the planet, right? And then Neptune comes in and says, hi guys, I haven't seen Mr. Aries and I haven't seen Mr. Saturn in 4,500 years. That's what I learned from Barbara Handclough. I think that's her name. I hope I didn't mess up her name. That's what she said. And I learned so much from that lady. You should listen to her on YouTube. I think I uploaded it to my Facebook page. Barbara Handclough. That's what she said. So Neptune comes in, and Neptune is the planet of illusion. Neptune is John Lennon, the planet of illumination, the planet of transformation, the planet of transfiguration. Neptune comes in and said, hey, remember me? 4,500 years ago, I was around at the time when the Buddhas appeared on the planet. So expect to see people, polishing up their Buddhas and removing the graffiti. So back then there were all these spiritual masters coming on the planet. And it's not like you're just in Buddha's court or Christ's court or Muhammad's court or whoever's court, right? It's one big spiritual consciousness. People are always trying to stick these figures in these, in these corners, right? Like four corner, right? You have the Muslim faith, you have the Christian faith, you have the Jewish faith. These are the strong ones, right? Right. And did I say Jewish, Muslim, Christian? Right. Well, anyway, I know you have four faiths at least, right? That are kind of like pushing their weight around. It's not about a faith. It's more about spiritual consciousness and how you treat each other. It's how you respect each other. You know, it's like people have to stop being so judgmental. There's that anger towards women. I mean, what 29-year-old would want to marry a 13-year-old when her body is not fully developed, right? He wants to control her. It's just sick out there. So, okay, let me clear again. And the little girl is crying in the video. I mean, that's not love. That's sick. Because it's not giving freedom to another soul. I don't care how old that soul is. You don't try to grape another soul. You don't try to steal that being's soul, you know? You just don't do that. You know, or you know what? Or suffer hellfire. You know, this hurricane, and I don't want to sound negative because we need to pray to calm it down. But there's a lot of anger in Jamaica. It's not a pure place. There's a lot of going on. And so we need to pray for that too. And hopefully maybe this is their karmic wake-up call too. You know, I think it's a karmic wake-up call when all these places kind of repeatedly get hit. Because I remember one time a storm came through or a flood came through and it wiped all these crops out in Iowa. And I says, good. You know why God wiped them out? Because they're spraying them with all these toxic chemicals. Why is cancer so high? All these toxic, are we just waking up now? I thought we woke. I don't think we woke yet. I think a lot of people are totally unconscious. Okay? So I don't know what your interpretation of woke is, but I don't think this is being woke by what I see going on with little children and their parents and entertainers and governors and prime ministers and kings and queens and the whole gamut. There's some sickness there, right? So, okay, enough said. So good people, you need to wake up. And if you feel like you're told your purpose is to go and move somewhere totally different than where you are now, this is what I learned. And like I said, I didn't really like it because I like where I am. But I think I am getting ready for my purpose. You have to be ready for your purpose. I guess that's what I'm saying. You have to be ready for your purpose. And the only way you can be ready for your purpose is if you stay in your heart and you listen to spiritual guidance from your own inner wisdom. You have inner wisdom, right? I bow to you. You all have inner wisdom. You have to wake up that inner wisdom. That's what it means to be woke, not some kind of gender identity, or racial identity, or whatever you want to call it, any kind of identity, that's not what it's really about. We're moving from a carbon structure into a crystalline structure. And you might even see blue people walking down the street. So, get ready. I'm so glad 3-Eye Atlas is coming through, right? You got your 3 eyes, right? And then you got your third eye, the pineal pituitary gland. When they talk about in the Bible about making your 2 eyes one, they're not talking about, what are they people are, they're not talking about like killing your brother. That's not what they're talking about. When they say to make 2 eyes one, okay, they're talking about not just seeing with your physical eyes, right? I know, here's another, welcome to another pile. I think I'm the princess of piles. That's what I am. Now I brought some of these for Halloween. The only problem is they're really high in salt. I mean, you eat a bag of these and that's it for the week. I mean, I know, I'm making my little piles. But I will get through them this week. So let's finish up our meditation here. I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm embarrassed now. No, it's just like, I said to people, I was feeling depressed, like after I retired. I said to my friend Terry, I said, what did your boyfriend do after he retired? How did he feel, right? And she goes, let me see how much time I have left on my phone. Oh my God. Sorry about that, guys. What I said, how much time? It doesn't tell you the time on here. I guess I could go back. It's showing me a slow connection too. I think the camera on this is pretty good. They tried to sell me another phone when I went to Verizon. They always try you to get you to buy another phone, right? Even though your phone is perfectly fine and all I really needed was a new glass cover. All right. So let's go back. The 3-eye atlas, right? 2 eyes, 3-eye, right? Pineal, pituitary gland. So get rid of the fluoride. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. In my opinion, get rid of the fluoride, okay? Start eating more seaweed. Like today, I was a good girl today, I have to say. Thank you, God, for pushing me to do this. Because sometimes I just want to lay around and pray and meditate. And it's very hard for me to think of getting up, but I did. I got up. I think I'm coming out of a depression because I was around kids last night. So I think that's why I feel better today. Because my friend, she had her little daughters over. They're so cute. She had her little daughters over, Alice and Samantha. And very precious children. And then my other Stan and his wife, they had their sons come by. It was nice. It was really nice. It was nice being there, nice being with people. And I think that's what's really important right now to ground us. We need to spend more time with our tribe, with the people we're closest to, okay? We have to spend more time with our tribe. That's what we need to do. And then listen to your spiritual guidance. Go inside, meditate, find yourself a spot. Like, you don't have to do 3 hours. Like, I get into doing 3 and 4 hours, but that's okay. That's just me, because I also put time into prayer. See, the thing about prayer, okay, this is the difference between prayer and meditation. I never really talked about this or thought about talking about this. The difference between prayer and meditation is prayer is repetitive, right? And when you're saying that prayer, you're visualizing, like you visualize, like I do the rosary. So I visualize, my favorite is Jesus being baptized. That's one of my favorite. And I always say, I want to go to bed and I want to dream about Jesus being baptized. Let me have a dream about Jesus creating a miracle, and he takes that loaf of bread and the fishes, I don't remember how many fishes, and he feeds multitudes of people. I mean, who the hell does that nowadays? Right? So, and I go, I want to go back to that time. Can't you let me have a dream where I can consciously say I'm in a dream? Because that's what I think we should be able to do. We should be able to teleport ourselves. But I think we have to get our crystalline structure, right? We have to become less dense physically. Okay, not just physically. Okay, physically, we're holding on to diseases ourselves. And at this time now, and I know this is going to sound controversial, at this time now, the spiritual beings that we work with, like I work with the angels, right? I work with Saint Michael and I work with Archangel Raphael. Michael I've been working with for a while, but Raphael I just started to rock with. Yeah, because I got this little bottle of oil. And you say the prayer and you bless yourself for healing. And then you just allow the healing to happen. So like me, I thought, maybe because the planets are in Aries right now and they're conjunct Saturn. So we were talking about this too. I know I'm jumping all over because somebody keeps calling me, interrupting me. All right, sorry, I get distracted easily. So right now, Neptune comes along 4,500 years later, right? And Neptune says, well, I want to play the game. I want to raise everybody's spiritual consciousness. Why are we so dense on this planet? We need to get out of a carbon structure. So if you don't, okay, what is food made out of, people? You're not going to need so much. Now that you're in a carbon structure, you need more food. But the less dense you become, and you see it all the time on YouTube, people that are breatharians, right? And I was thinking, what's happening to my body? Am I sick? I don't need to eat as much. I start like really doubting myself. And then I said to myself, no, you're becoming less dense. You're becoming less carbon based, and you're becoming more crystalline. Okay, so we're going to do a short meditation here. I really want you guys to have a really nice Halloween, really be aware. I'm glad I went to that little party last night. It was safe, and yeah, it was a good party. There's good people, good food. Next time I'm going to bring some more food. I was a candy person. I brought a lot of candy. I call it, the poison candy, because all this candy now has lead and cadmium. The only candy that's chocolate that does not have lead and cadmium, the only one that does not have lead, and it's okay if you're meditating and I'm talking, it's fine. That does not have lead and cadmium is the Ritter chocolate, that sports chocolate. I think it's made in Germany. And there's some Swiss chocolate that's still good. But all the other chocolates, I think German. There was a German chocolate that was good. But all the other chocolates, that Golden Bunny, full of lead and cadmium. So don't feed your kids that. I was thinking, God, maybe I should get a protest sign and protest in front of CVS or Walgreens and say, stop selling our kids this poisonous chocolate. They should only keep in the stores what's not poisonous. And that stuff is poisonous. And the artificially colored M&Ms, and then they wonder why their kids are so hyper. Well, they're drugging the candy. Lead, cadmium, blue dye, red dye, yellow 40 or whatever it is, blue 5, red, whatever. Yeah, they're poisoning our children. They're poisoning. And then they go, oh, what's cancer? Well, cancer is your body rebelling against all this. And thank God Robert Kennedy is trying to do something. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I really predict that in the future we are not going to have a two-party system. We're going to have more of a parliament. And then I also am learning towards this other prediction that I have about Prince William. He'll be a king, but instead of being like a king, he'll be more of a CEO. And they will start running the kingdom more as a business. And I think that would be better. I think Queen Elizabeth, she made the cake, right? I don't think anybody could top her. So Queen Elizabeth was the last to me, in my opinion, a ruler of England. And now I think that Prince Charles, he's going to be more hip and more in tune with the people. I think he's going to help out the homeless there in England. But I think he went through a period of time, because I think he's a Cancer, so he's sensitive. I think he went through a period of time where he was depressed and angry. I could say I was depressed because I wasn't around the kids and all the people I knew, and I'd lay on the couch for hours. But I would also pray and meditate. And I needed to slow down. I think God wanted me to slow down so I could heal my body. And yes, I'm still going to Dagwan. I got an acupuncture treatment on Saturday. And now one treatment is like the jet plane for me. I made another treatment for next week. And I told him we have to work on my gallbladder channel. That's the channel. If you have problems with walking, the gallbladder channel and the stomach channel, the yang channels. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. You're probably tired of listening to me right now. But, there's a lot to think about, right? This is my little podcast, right? So if you like my podcast, let me know. If there's some topic you want me to talk more about, I got to look and see if there's messages from you guys. You know, I'm still figuring out the whole computer system. I'm not so linear. Like, I like doing slides. You know, I love doing slides. And I'm thinking about creating an educational channel for children. But right now, I really feel like I'm going through this body, and you will feel it too. Okay, Saturn. Okay, Saturn. This is what I was going to say, and I came up with this metaphor. Okay, Saturn, or you could say it's a simile. Saturn is like the metal train engine, right? Or one of these bullet trains, right? One of these bullet trains going down a track. And who's riding the train? Aries. The planet Aries, the planet Mars, right? He says, take me for a ride. And Saturn says, you're going to stop being so out of control. You're going to get the job done. You're going to take care of the earth. You're going to take care of the government. And Aries has the energy to do that. And then Neptune comes in, so that would be more the mental consciousness, right? The executive brain functioning for the Aries, right? So he's driving that train. All right, he's driving that train, he's driving Saturn. And then along comes, 4,500 years later, that's what Barbara Handclough said. Handclough. She said, 4,500 years later, here comes Neptune, right? So as they're driving that train, it's late at night, and it's dark. And all of a sudden, what do you see? A billion stars. You see a billion stars, and you see the UFOs. And you start to connect intergalactically. Remember, it's 4,500 years later. So so we had Buddha, we had Mohammed, we had all these people that were sacred walking the planet. Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar. I mean, I could go on and on. Mama, Amaji, Sri Yukteswar, Yogananda. I said Yogananda. The Maharaji, Guru Maharaji, the young boy. I followed him. I started out following this older man, and he was my first teacher. I'm trying to remember his name. God, see, it's a long time ago. Okay, well, Kirpal Singh, yeah, I did spend some time with Kirpal Singh. Okay, so this one teacher, right? I studied with him, and then I got the feeling, this is not my spiritual teacher anymore. I'm going to move on. And I didn't even know at the time. I was young, right? I don't know. I got into yoga, youth, and reincarnation when I was like in my teens, and that transformed my life. So yoga, youth, and reincarnation. I mean, I think we're all beyond that now because everybody's doing yoga. But when I was growing up, I went to a yoga class with my mom. That was really special. And, then I taught yoga at my college. That was like before it was, everywhere. That was a really good class. And I did meditation then. We were at the top of this building with the snow falling down. Wow. With this divine music. It was like out of a movie. Because at the top of that building, when the snow falls down, it gets magnified. Just beautiful. So we have to stay in our hearts right now. There's a lot going on. We're experiencing a lot. We're letting go of a lot, So just think of yourself as being on that silver train. But remember, Saturn is strong. It'll help you keep your balance. And then keep your cognitive ability strong. Don't be overindulging right now. In fact, you may want to stop indulging for a while. And you know what I'm talking about. All those things we overindulge in. Okay? Something we could adjust. So whatever it is, I think we really have to be supremely awakened right now. I sound like I'm out of the Bhagavad Gita. I have to tell you that story. I got in trouble in a class. We have to be like the Bhagavad Gita, though. We have to be really focused right now. So tonight we're going to focus on Jamaica. And I already started a rosary. Okay, we're going to do a little more meditation right now for Jamaica. We're being called to meditate. Let's do it. Gotta get some water. Drink a lot of water right now. Put lemon in it. This is where I say you get your angel wings on, because this is the part of the body you feel vibrating, right? All right, so when you feel this part, I said this is when you get your angel wings on. So we're at that level, right? Because your kundalini is vibrating, it's changing. It's clearing things out you don't need anymore. So let it clear it out, right? Let anything you don't need in your cells clear out. Any kind of pain you had in the past, any kind of pain, that's a big one, right? Nobody likes pain. No one. So pull those arrows out of your body. Pull them out of your crown. Just take off that crown of thorns and put on a wreath of flowers. So you're on this train, right? You're on this silver train, Saturn, the planet. And Aries comes by, connects with Saturn, gets on the train, is driving the train. So if you do your Saturn tasks, what are Saturn tasks? I call them chores, right? Washing the dishes, cleaning the floor, those are Saturn tasks, right? Like I still have a box and a half I've been procrastinating of papers to go through, right? So to me, that's like a Saturn task. So, but we still have to do those chores, right? And Aries will help you do them faster because it's ruled by Mars. And then I think what's really good about it, with all those tasks, you're to be balance your life with doing things that are spiritual for you. Now, what's spiritual for you is spiritual for different people. Spiritual for you could be a walk in the woods, right? Growing plants. Going to a gym, helping out someone. So wherever you put your volunteer time or your love time, make sure that it's pure and it's healthy, right? And that you can elevate this planet, so we can have a wonderful heaven on earth. So that's the possibility right now. So the process that I didn't like that I heard today was that one of these speakers that I was listening to, I listened to way too much YouTube. I confess. But I learned so much. There's so many interesting things and so many interesting people. And, like I like doing my own YouTube. I hope you learned something from me. I hope you do that, So then I met with those people last night and I said, yeah, we should do a podcast. We just have to pick a topic and kind of stick to it, right? Yeah, maybe I should call a podcast here because they always do it over there and I have a fireplace. Now, see, I'm becoming inspired. Just talking to you, I'm becoming inspired. All right, so guys, it's getting late. I have no idea I don't know what time it is. That's the one thing about okay, the one good thing about being retired, and I won't lie, is you don't have a schedule. You create your own schedule. And that I love. It's like a noose or a weight has been taken off your body, right? It's just like you feel free, and that's why I felt that Dolly Parton, and I don't want to rag on Dolly Parton because I love her. I think she's an angel in disguise. I really do. I think Dolly Parton is an angel in disguise. She's like a magical creature on the earth. But I disagree kind of what she did with her money. She gave it to the educational systems and she gave it to the some charities, and I don't know which ones. But if I had that much money, and this is my opinion, I would give everybody in that town where she lived a percentage of the money. Then all those people in the town could prosper and grow. Not just give it to the schools and not just give it to the governments or charities. They waste a lot of money, unless they're very ethical. And she's probably done her business ahead of time, and she probably did hopefully look into things that are ethical, because I see her as an ethical person. So I see Dolly Parton as an ethical person. So yeah, so a lot of people my age and that I grew up with are leaving the planet. So that's pretty amazing, right? We had Diana Keaton leave. Every week I hear stories, right? But we want to stay grounded at this time, and we want to enjoy planet Neptune. Because what is planet Neptune coming in for 4,500 years ago? To me, it's like the Renaissance. It's like Vienna at the height of music and dance and beauty. And now Vienna has graffiti all over it. I mean, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So some people that are coming into our country are destroying our country, and I don't like that. And I know you feel like that. So we're also going to put those people in these prayers so that the light gets stronger, babe, okay? We got to get stronger here with the light. All right, so let's stay in our heart. I know this is kind of a long meditation. I haven't done a long meditation. Usually I do my long meditations on YouTube. I'll have to download this. You know, I'm still trying to figure out how to save and download and all this crazy stuff. You know, it's just like so linear for me, and I'm not that linear of, well, I can be linear, I guess, in certain things, but I'd rather stay in a state where I don't have to be so linear. Okay, so let's focus on Jamaica, and let's transform the evil that is roaming the earth right now in its many forms and shapes and sizes and colors and weights and items, muchas cosas. Like I said, watch out with your kids on Roblox. Watch out on that other one, Fortnite. It starts to brainwash the cells in their brain. So be careful. Let me see if I can get Ashtar to bring any at last. If we get cut off, I'll just have to do another meditation tomorrow. So it is what it is. Because I don't even know how much time is on my phone, how much percentage. Yeah, so talk with your angels. You know, you all have guides and angels, and you have departed loved ones around you. And I want to get Val Evans to help me set up a place where I could, you know, take a charge card from someone, and I could charge for a reading. So that's what I'd like to be doing, because that's really my life work. But I guess I'm also recovering from being retired. You know, I even yelled out the window at my assistant principal from my school. I said, do you have any part-time jobs? You know, even to be there just twice a week, just to be around the people I love and the kids, and, you know, it's really nice. But this is also the time to let go and move on, okay? All right, so let's get in our center again. This will be our last meditation. I'm going to take a break. I'm getting really thirsty. Yeah, so you might get really thirsty when you meditate too, because you're heating up the core. You're spinning from your core. How about these volcanoes going off? Pray for those too. Okay, so the hurricane, calm it down with the pink. So, I mean, you can change the imaging, okay? You can change the imaging. You don't have to use the pink cloud. You know, that's my imaging. In fact, I wouldn't mind doing a painting like that. I know I need to start painting again. You know, I just want to say I bless you all those people who listen to me, and if I don't get back to you, it's because okay, it's not that I don't want to get back to you, it's I don't know how. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, I taught slides and I taught PowerPoint presentations. I did those kinds of things, but I haven't really done a lot with Messenger and stuff like that, you know, so I'm trying to figure it all out. You know, I just learned how to turn the camera around. So yeah, and then I also have a Gmail account, and I don't even know how to get into that. So I have to get more focused on this a little bit. And I think I'm going to cut the tie with Comcast. I think I'm going to go to Roku because it'll be cheaper. And Comcast seems to always be going down. So I think I'm going to cut the cord. And you save a little bit of money, and you can use that money for other things, right? All right, my loves. So listen, stay in your heart. Let's see this meditation now, because we got a pretty good meditation today. Let's do one more meditation, and just, you know, like I said, visualize protecting Jamaica. Start a GoFundMe for a relative. I would start a GoFundMe now. If you have a relative, you should just start now, because you know they're going to need help. And maybe you could buy them one of those bioceramic houses. But I think it's called bioceramide. Yeah, houses. They're like domes, right? White domes. And they're windproof, they're waterproof, they're mold-proof. Yeah, but they're biodegradable. So I thought that was like amazing. I just thought, this is what we need on this planet, right? because there's too many big storms. So we need to start building roundhouses. All right, so let's pray for the people in Jamaica. Let's pray for all those little islands, including Cuba. Like I said, I was down there when I took a train down there with my brother and my mom after my dad died. So the point I was trying to make, going back to the train again, train twice already, huh? Synergistic. I hope we don't have a train accident. So pray that the trains are protected on the tracks. So we're praying for Jamaica. We're praying for the trains. I looked out the window on that train at night because I couldn't really sleep. And I said, Mom, and my mother didn't answer me. I don't think she knew what to say. I said, Mom, why does it look like those people live in doghouses? As we passed through Alabama and Tennessee and Mississippi. I knew there was an injustice right there, right? And then when I was really little too, I think I was around the same age. Second World War ended. I was born then. And, people were at my school, people were showing pictures of people from the concentration camps. And I happened to see one because they didn't think of hiding it from me. You never thought about stuff back then. People just saw what they saw, right? So I saw this picture of this man that was like, he had flesh on his bones, but he had no muscles. He was like totally emaciated. And I said to my little 6-year-old self, how could another human being do this to this man? How could they do this to this man? I couldn't answer that question. So let's pray for the evil, because there's evil people doing evil things to evil everywhere. And we need to squish it. Okay, it's like a bad abscess that needs to be drained. Bad abscess. All right, so let's pray for Jamaica. All those wonderful people, right? I mean, they must be so frightened. Let's just wrap the veil of love around them. You pray the rosary. I think the rosary is very powerful. And if you don't know how to pray the rosary, I would learn how to pray the rosary. I think it's a powerful tool of transformation. Because, for a long time I would say prayers, but I wouldn't say the whole rosary. And now I'm trying to connect, because each time you say the rosary, you learn something new. Like the baptism by water, it's like every time we take a bath or wash ourselves, we should be grateful for clean water. That's the baptism by water. So kind of meditate on that these people are going to need clean water. They're going to need clean water. They're making care packages. And try to get some GoFundMe set up. And Cuba. So we're on that train, guys. We're on that train. So don't let your mind... Okay, so this is the thing about Mars. You're on that train, and I had to stop myself on that train. I had to slow it on down, because Neptune came in and said, you have to balance. It's all about balance, right? That seesaw? You're both at the same level on a seesaw? Did you ever do that with a friend? Where you got on the seesaw? I think that's what I'm going to call this video. I'm going to call this video, Are You Balanced Out? All right, so let's get ready. Get a final meditation here. One more. Pray for that area. Pray for the evil to diminish in the world and transform into love. Remember to be around nature. Don't stay inside all day. I kind of did that today. I should have went outside at least for a little while. But I just couldn't get off the couch. I go through phases like that where I can't get up. I'm like in prayer and meditation, and that's all I want to do. So, everybody's on a different path, right? And you have to have a purpose on that path. Don't just go all willy-nilly with Mars. Say to Mars, hey, let's put the reins on the horse here. Let's slow down his horsepower on this Saturn train, and let's listen to Neptune. Because Neptune is great. Neptune is full about creativity, matched with Saturn. Oh my God, in Aries, I think we're going to have a lot of inventions. Okay, that's my prediction. I said it here. We're going to have a lot of new inventions. And a lot of them are going to have to do with health and bones. We're going to have a lot of new inventions. And maybe even mental issues, like using nutrition for mental issues and getting rid of all the chemicals. Because Neptune could be chemicals. People stopping doing chemicals. That you see that you don't need all these chemicals to enhance your life, right? So, yeah, I think there's going to be some big changes. All right, so let me clear one more time. Let's see how we are. Yeah, it's nice. All right, so let's just sit for a few minutes of quiet. And I also want you to be in your heart and take care of yourself. So, just, when you're feeling some negative energy, just send love. Don't shrink. Don't be a shrinking violet. Be the radiant sun and stay in your heart. Yeah, I was visualizing that ground that they dug up outside by my house. I visualize putting a bunch of bulbs in there. So try to beautify your space, right? Like enjoy where you live. Well, don't be afraid if you're not going to go through some changes. So this is kind of an intense time of changes, okay? And just be aware of the needs of others and the needs for yourself. Stay in your heart, guys, okay?